I'm so excited. In the coronavirus days, I have plenty of time for reading. I have time to make jewelry. I have time to start collage projects. I have time to work with the ancestors. I have time to make dinner and have a glass of wine. And I have time to talk to friends. And I have time to reach out to family and time to listen to my kids from wherever they are and time to read. So today, whatever fear-based, whatever it is, has turned some kind of corner. And now I am deliciously uh, excited to have from here to April 7th, where I'm supposed to be in my house. And I did some work. Thank goodness. I had some work to do. So that was exciting. And I applied for new jobs, and all that is good. And my friends are emoting publicly on Facebook. So that's exciting. And we're engaging in, creative brainstorming in all these different ways. And it's delightful. And people are creating. So that part I totally love. And this other part of like random, weird stopping of people driving in LA, not so great. My partner is down there, and anyway, we're in the joy hour, so we're going to avoid conspiracy theories and all the things that could be happening with Illuminati and all these rumors about, but not so far off from some kind of wild Hollywood paranoia, toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah story. Anyway, I'm staying in the now. The now is the joy hour. This is the grounding for making it through coronavirus. This is the blue robe of friendship from my friend Mo, who called me today. And this is the book that we're reading. It's still Hallelujah Anyway by Anne Lamott, and we're on life cycles. When we lose something important or someone we love does, we begin by retracing our steps. More often than we'd expect, we have found lost treasures. Keys, glasses, and earrings at our feet, whether on the bench beside the rough, muscular waters of the channel at Stinson Beach, or in the tide of people at Union Square. My Jesuit friend Tom and I found his wallet alongside the lake in downtown Hanoi through the smeary smoke of wood cooking fires and exhaust from scooters. I found a friend's glasses in a Mexican surf. My son and I found his father. The secret is, if what we need and want is missing, we begin by going back to where we last saw it. When I realized I'd been losing mercy for much of my life, like air from a tire, and that this damaged my sense of welcome and immediacy, I began to retrace my steps. Some people sprang from healthy, adjusted families with happy, fulfilled parents who, if necessary, sought therapy for their addiction, anger, depression, and grief, and who celebrated children who were deeply different. Or so I hear. Maybe 3 or 4 of all the people I've ever known, my intimate friends, have always been the children of absent parents, alcohol, faithlessness, hickory switches, and manic depression. But that's just me. Putting aside that there were some healthy families, most of us were raised by parents with big problems. If our parents were in a bad marriage or were alcoholic or chain smokers, silent, fundamentalist, unfaithful, or frequently absent, we began as fetuses to marinate in embryonic sacs of our mother's anxiety. Picture a rump roast. Most of us came out to bright fluorescent lights of excitement and loudness, yet also maybe into a loving mother's arms. If so, she helped the bad brightness dissipate, helped her new baby relax into wonder. We all see those babies who look stoned on life. Maybe we were those babies. If not, we got militarized to the beat of someone else's anxiety, or original need got warped. It became too expensive to pay attention to our own bodies. We looked to the metronome of others' needs. We became serenely attached, or anxiously attached, or unable to attach at all. As Beckett wrote, we were too bonny once. The bonniness is easy at first. Many things are easy at first. If you were hungry, you were usually fed. Skin was flawless. Diaper got changed. Hopefully, before you got a rash, you were nuzzled, sniffed with joy or amused horror. We'd already started to complain, but pretty quickly, as we got bigger, we learned to shove it down because someone didn't like it and seemed to like us less. And then our needs didn't get met. We learned to put on happy faces like makeup and to fake feeling okay about ourselves and our family in order to please everyone and thus survive. Of course, there were beautiful times, and we have beautiful memories, and there were some wonderful holiday meals and vacations, although those were incredibly hard work for the moms. But sometime after elementary school began, we discovered that besides family photos and ashtrays, our nests were filled with strange, unhappy people who were our only hope of being nurtured. We didn't know yet that nurture was our mother too. Nurture, but she wrote nature. Nature was our mother too. We didn't know yet that nature was our mother too, that she would be our great abiding source of hope and awe as we grew. Our parents were weird at best, opaque or over the top embarrassing, or actually needing to be institutionalized from time to time. At worst, they were abusers. In any case, they often didn't get along with each other. We may have weighed only 52 pounds at 6 years old, but we gamely tried to make our home a cuter nest by being a better kid, calming down our father, helping to raise the littler kids, comforting our mother, and mostly agreeing not to see, take in, or mind what life was like at home. We hoped that the big world would be a better nest, or could be made into one by us who had learned certain pleasing skills that entertained, impressed, soothed, or distracted grown-ups. But the bigger world had even more of these hungry, damaged birds who had all once been bonny, who were now worried or show offs, or who didn't seem to mind shoving others out of the way. So, for all the pleasant experiences marbled into ordinary life at home and at school, there was always constant danger. You could be ambushed and mocked for your body or teeth or glasses, or dad might go off on your brother at the table for no reason. We learned from books that we were all animals like monkeys and goats, but with Edward Gorey minds. Did goat husbands shame their wives? Did little monkey girls hold their breath until they passed out like I did? The world was mean, dreamy sometimes, fun, unreal, lovely, confusing. Learning to read gave us a true oasis, salvation in the same way that coming to know Jesus or the Buddha might eventually get some of us out of the fray, but it also isolated us. Reading helped us get blissfully lost in resonant worlds where we could rest or gape or laugh with recognition. But then we looked up again at the dinner table or the blacktop or church, and we couldn't close the covers of those spooky, I want to add the word unwritten books. We developed knowledge of our defects, our self centeredness, our disagreeable ways, what some might call original sin, and it yapped at us. God forbid people would find out who we were. We were going to fall or be pushed off the ledge, and our underpants were going to show. Some of us thought about jumping as babes. We staggered and fell on padded bottoms, giggled, drooled, and grinned, and everyone was charmed and laughed. Boy, not anymore. Hormones kicked in with dark desires. Our bodies turned grotesque. We were too fat or too thin, and had no breasts or droopy breasts or hideous gargantuan breasts. And our skin broke out as if pimples were the bad thoughts we'd been having now erupting on our face. And all those strange feelings and truths about love in that clumsy body that we knew nobody could love. Yet, in retracing the overgrown garden path from playfulness and wonder to toxic self consciousness, we notice the deep compassion we express toward our closest friends with their equally unacceptable bodies and skin and families. We took younger kids under our wings. We stood up for underdogs. The popular kids felt better, as if they had dodged a bullet and had it all figured out. They could pass at 15 as people of beauty. People of beauty. And thus value. But everyone steps on the cosmic banana peel sooner or later, and they'd had so little training compared with us, obviously, defective goofballs. We had our books and amazingly phenomenal friends. The most beautiful girl in my junior high class became a junkie. The most popular kids married horribly. The math whiz drives a backhoe for the county. Real life was often slow and disappointing, not one bit like TV. Life seemed to be set up to shine light on our defects. It was natural for us to think, it was natural for us to want life to be smooth and sweet, but good luck with that. Things didn't work out right. Usually stuck out for all to see, and got whacked back down or swelled up or broke out. The most awful people had the most beautiful teeth. The bad news was that it felt impossible to be in congruity with one's true self. But the good news was that by a certain age, we understood that we had a true self, and they hadn't managed to wreck it entirely. We saw everyone's insecurities, strivings, grotesqueries, and everyone saw ours. So it was life in the shrapnel field with fashion, makeup, achievement, and irony as our armor. Because we had lost contact with the truth of our innately merciful selves, it was almost impossible to have self-respect. But there were always one or two kids whose friendship saved us, fed us, and one or two teachers who got us, who got it, who shared the truth that life was amazing, but also hard and weird. Frederick Buechner wrote that perhaps the main job of the teacher is to teach gently the inevitability of pain. Teachers, like food, came in many forms. For those who went to college, there was a buffet of wild new tastes compared with the mac and cheese at home. And not just the gifts of sex and drugs. We were in a vessel that could hold us, esteem us between loneliness and setbacks. We were immersed in great material, crazily deep relationships with kids as smart and odd as we were. Thoughts that reached down into the darkness of the subconscious, the realms of the soul. I went to college for 2 years in Maryland, and these are some of my greatest memories. We thought we'd grown up and been loosed from all those first pathetic efforts at finding out who we were. We were complicated people with miraculously amazing friends, better skin, some progress, and a persona. We had learned to get outside as often as possible. Nature gave us life, hope, truth, sanctuary. The college took place on the same old pocked blacktop. Half of us were going to fail, so there was always another round of musical chairs. We stumbled and bumbled and still shoved others aside and stole other people's lunches or made bizarre, damaging comments. It was the same scarred, starving birds grown up, chirping egomaniacs with terrible self-loathing. And there were no longer the easy rewards there were in grade school when you got a ribbon for playing soccer or a swimming medal for simply putting your face partway into the water. Our expectations were continually dashed. We thought it would be, oh, you have such a beautiful voice. Here, have a starring role and make good money. But everyone else in the program had a beautiful voice too, or could write like an angel or cook. We were all just cogs. Plus, we were going to have to leave again. Panic set in, which unleashed a force for bad that had sometimes felt present in the world ever since we were young, even for non-believers. It was not completely unlike the Christian devil, but without the tail. It tempted, seduced, and beguiled. It loved drama, sex, the vampire's dance floor. Look, drugs. It has always deceived people by presenting them with insight and light. Often an idea that screwed up everything. Hey, let's ban alcohol, or we're in danger, let's invade Iraq. This thing inside me would tug on my sleeves, fueled by beer and hormones, and I would hear, this is good, but make it better. And you're too advanced for this. It was always in opposition to goodness. With self-obsessed light bulbs going on overhead, it encouraged me to condemn, disguise, seduce, and take. It harmonized with me on my way, just before the inevitable train wreck. Maybe 30 years later, you realize that there is nothing wrong with aha moments, but run them by your rabbi. Not at 20, though.